Alright, here we are. I just finished building my Micro Magic Mark II. I'm just going to show you guys a couple tips that I changed from the original build plans. Overall, you can see a boat. Used mostly all the hardware. I had some black Dacron string I used to change it up. Here's my sail connection. This hooks to the bottom of the sail. Pulls that tight. It's on a hook. Everything's on hooks, if you'll notice, because I like to be able to remove my rig. Things like this. This hook allows me to remove the jib, but your rigging, your winch line coming through would still be connected through this little hole on the jib. I chose to put a shackle, which makes that removable. The McMahon clip in the front makes it removable. Now the jib can come off. Same with the main. McMahon clip, Bosey for adjustments, loosen the Allen wrench, that wire comes out. You can now remove your entire rig. As for the rudder, one major key factor, you can't see it here on mine, I took my rudder off and I put a flat spot with a Dremel grinder wheel right where that screw hits, leaving it rounded at the top. So if it were to come loose and try to drop down, your rudder will be caught at the flat spot where it ends and gets rounded again. And if your screw did get a little bit loose, with it being flat, you would still have some catch on your rudder. You might notice some slop. Tighten your screw, at least you still have your rudder. Okay, now as for the main, I used some beefier clips, sail rings. I didn't like the ones that came with. I want this thing to last forever, take any kind of wind conditions. But before I put my holes in, I made sure I was using these clips and checked it, because if you make this hole close to the sail like they want for the little rings, when you add these big sails later, it'll pull too far away from the mast. Mine can even be slightly closer. Now for the jib. You can see I ran the jack line as they tell you in the instructions. At the end of each jack line on the jib, I have a small washer top. It's hard to see here, but there is a washer there. It's tied directly to the jib boom. Then the sail is tied separately to the jib boom as well. And what that washer will allow me to do now is remove this snap swivel. That will remove that. This snap swivel is connected to the sail. Now my sail can come off if I need to work on it. Always tighten the jack line first. You'll see some wrinkles in your sail. And you just want to pull very lightly on the sail Bosey until that's snug when rigging your sail. You want most of the weight to be carried on this jack line. Keep that loose for now. Hope you guys all know not to keep any tension on your lines when you're not sailing. I use the topping lift, nothing wrong with this. However, when rigging my side shrouds, you'll notice I actually looped a piece of the white string around to give me something to tie both of these to. So otherwise you find it hard to go through that little hole, and I don't feel comfortable drilling that little hole any bigger, because some of these holes, as you can see when you build this boat, are exceptionally tiny. I did the same with this one. I attached a little loop that gives me tie off my backstay, and it's also where I tied off my sail adjustment Bosey up here. Gives me some adjustability up there. Down there, sail's fully adjustable. And then another thing you will notice, very important with this model, when I hooked up my winch arm, with this being where they want it on the plan, and this being here, connected here, the pivot point from here to here, and from here to here, that's different. Now, wouldn't be such a big issue except the tie-off location. They tell you to tie it off to the rudder here, which you can see I had it there. But I was noticing when I was sheeted out, my jib boom would actually go super far as compared to my mainsail. And I just found it due to be how the jib hooks up. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little servo arm right there. That's for that third jib adjustment. That's where that ties off. And when I'm fully sheeted out, which is right there, you can see the space between it and the servo. It's at full sheet. Here, being fully sheeted out, if you can picture this, this would be sheeted in. This is sheeted out now. The arm is somewhere right over here, the pulley. With the line being tied right there, it didn't allow full sheet from about this point to here. It basically, the line is just straightening. It's not really releasing it out. So I made a new tie off. Can't really see it, but it's right there. This little, I don't know what you call it, but this bracing frame piece that they give you, you'll see it has a hole on either side. I tied it into that hole on this side. That allows a almost straight path for my main to go to. This is the actual string that's going out to my main. It loops around the pulley and goes straight to it. That allowed me to get the exact same sheeting length out of the jib and the main, and if you look at the paths, they're a lot more true to each other. They run very the same, the connection points. But I did hook it up to the jib trim. Make sure you have a strong servo, because it just sheets out and in just a little bit on your jib, whether you're fully close hauled or fully sheeted out. You can then add a little bit of sheeting line or pull in a little bit with that servo. It's back there as a small arm because you don't want much. It works. I don't know how dramatic of a difference you'll notice. Some people say it's illegal in a race. I'm not in a club. I just race my friends, and all my friends have it. So one thing you'll notice when you're sheeting, make sure you don't ever sheet fully in when you're first setting up your boat, or if you make adjustments. Always check that you're fully sheeted in. Doesn't put too much tension on the lines, because this servo tray they give you, I don't know if you can see it, but when you have tension on your lines, this will flex, especially if you're over sheeted. Don't want to break that. It is nice. It's removable with 2 screws. That whole pod comes out. I basically had to build it right about here and then tuck it all in. With this in place, connected with the wires to the receiver, because I couldn't even really plug in those after it was in place, out of the way. But you can see I have a receiver there. I just wanted to try to keep it out of the way of the jib line. Same with the main. The main seems to be a lot more free over here. It's got all the room in the world. I just put my BEC on this side.